Hey y'all, what's going on? I picked up another Gator. This one's a Gator TX model. When I first got my TS model, I was looking around for parts and I found this one for sale for a pretty decent deal. I got to looking at it, looking into it, and I do like the old school Gator look a little bit more than this rear axle here that's, open and got suspension on it. But it's got some pretty decent parts on it when I was looking at it, and I was like, hey, I couldn't find parts for mine. Didn't really know like what was going on, how hard I was going to be put together. And I was looking at this one, I was like, well, this one's pretty complete except for a motor. So, why don't I just get that one? I'll get that one running real quick. Well, I did end up getting parts from the other one. I did end up, start putting that one together. But I did go and get this one anyways because it still does have parts that I can use on it. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I'm looking at here, what you're looking at, and what's going on. So first thing is it's got pink rims, so this is going to be a good one. As soon as I seen those, I was like, man, this thing's got to be worth something. Look at that. But yeah, the cool thing overall about this is that it does have the rear suspension on it, so that's pretty cool. It looks like these things are geared to do like 20 mile an hour, whereas like the factory TS models, the standard OG models, I think they're geared for like 15 or something, so you get a couple more miles an hour out of it. And honestly, if you're doing anything over 15 miles an hour, you're going to want some suspension anyways, or else it'll be knocking you all around. My other Gator didn't have no seats, and this one's got some seats on it. They ain't the best, but it gives you something to sit on. Can't really complain, right? So I saw those, and all right, we got some seats on there. I'm interested. That's what really caught my attention. Got all 4 rims and tires. They hold air. They ain't pretty, but they do hold air. That's a lot more than my other one did. So once again, that was a big selling point for it. Something else that's cool about this one is that it's got front brakes. It's pretty dirty. I don't know if you can see that, but front disc brakes on there. So when you got the front disc brakes and you go to the back, you got back here, you got some rear disc brakes back here. So, let me try to get a good view on this. That's pretty cool. What we're talking about here is hydraulic 4-wheel disc brakes, rear suspension, transmission with the stock RPM geared for 20 mile an hour. It's pretty cool. So this is something I might want to work up a little bit and put like a Predator, 670 on it, and see what it can do a little bit. It'd be nice to have something I can take out in the woods, whatever, get up a little bit more speed. Obviously, it's not really in the best of shape, so if it gets banged up, it's not really a big deal, But other than that, let me see what else was caught my eye on here. Here's your master cylinder for your brakes here. Now, the headlights, like I said, these are like $80-something a piece or something like that. It's got 2 headlights, no balls, but it's got the headlights, so that's worth something right off the bat. Looking through it, yeah, it's pretty banged up, so it needs a steering rack right off the bat. It needs shocks. Whoever ran this thing ran it real hard. And then looking at the suspension, the kingpins are bad as well. So this is going to need a total front suspension overhaul, top to finish. It looks like there's some brake fluid in there. It's leaking some brake fluid. This thing definitely needs a lot of work. This ain't going to be done anytime soon. And trying to get it done cheap might not really be, that effective. So it might just be one of those things where you just take the time and see what you can find laying around, see if you can find another one getting parted out or something like that. Just see what's going on with it. But in the meantime, I'm going to pull the seats off of it. I'm going to pull the headlights. That's going to get me somewhere. Something else that's pretty cool is that for my other one, I'm trying to keep in decent condition, looking almost all original. It's got this plastic part, which is pretty hard to find. A lot of people pull these off. They're working on whatever, they just don't make their way back on there. So it's got that. So that's going to be going on the other Gator. So just those 3 items: the seats, the headlights, and that divider. It's worth something to me right away. And it still has a ton of parts on it. If I can't use it, I can part it out. You got the rear axle and whatnot, and whatever else, steering shaft, rims and tires. They're worth a couple bucks. I can't really lose on this deal, but I'm going to try to save it. I really do want to try to save it, but it does have some issues, and the issues are rust. So there's a lot of rust. You got rust in the floors. God only knows what they look like underneath. It's probably pretty bad. You can see with the gas pedal on there, it's worn out. It's been run hard for a long time. Underneath don't look too bad, but you got some real heavy rust up here by the A-arms, the front suspension. So, I mean, I don't even know if that's salvageable. That's just something I have to get cleaned up and look if it's structurally sound, if I can even bolt stuff to that, or, you know, so that's going to be an issue right there, looking at that. The rear swing arm looks pretty good. Don't really got an issue there. A little bit of bubble rust right here, bubbling up. Nothing too bad. And then down in here is another area where the battery did go. There ain't nothing there at all. There ain't no place to even put the battery because it's already done all rotted out. And it looks like that area over here took out a big old section of the body here, which is essentially the frame. So once again, that's probably have to get cut out. Might have to get some welding or something done there. Just rust holes everywhere. So, I mean, I got the parts that I need. There is parts on it for me to get rid of. If I gotta, you know, part it out or whatever, scrap the thing. But I am gonna try to save it. It ain't gonna look pretty, I don't really care, but it might be something for me to, you know, practice some welding on. Like I said, it won't be pretty. And then, you know, slap a bigger motor on there. Play around one of the big V-twin Predators. I always want to mess around one of them. And just have like a nice little buggy to go back in the woods and stuff. You know, me and my son, we got mini bikes we ride around on. You know, one of them gets stuck or something goes wrong. It wouldn't be half bad to have something that you can push through the woods if you got to. Maybe put a flatbed on there or something. I'll be able to pull these bikes out of, you know, the woods. Something goes wrong. It's not a bad idea. So, like, that's something just to kick around. But, you know, in the meantime, I'm just going to start taking parts off of it. Try to start getting my other Gator together. That's really primary right now. I'm excited about getting that one on the road. Like I said, I always wanted one. This one will probably get pushed off to the side. But when I do start getting into it, I'll let you know what it looks like and what's going on with it and where I'm going to go with it when I got a better idea, when I get it cleaned up, taken apart, and see what's left on there. All right, guys, have a good one.